Joanne Bieler is the author of the Ethan and Abby, the Faith Adventure series, which has been a great support to parents when their kids ask questions about God. She's here today to talk about her newest book, Wait, What? I Can Talk to God? So let's please welcome Joanne to the show. Joanne, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So you've got this series of 3 books, and we're going to talk about your newest one, but maybe take us back a little bit. Have you always wanted to be a children's book author? And if not, what kind of started you on that journey? What has been the journey to writing this series for you?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question because it was not on my radar at all. And in fact, just going back a little bit, when I was young, I wanted to be a young mom, and that's all I was focused on. Writing books and all that didn't come until much later. So because I wanted to be a young mom, I ended up getting married early and focused on having children. And when that didn't happen, I ended up just focusing on my career. And fast forward for 15 years, I tried to get pregnant, couldn't get pregnant. And so I started building my career. So at the end of the day, I did get pregnant. I had a beautiful baby girl. And so when I was raising her, I was really aware of what was coming into her ears and her eyes. And it's something that was a big hole in my life when I was growing up. So I was really aware of that. And it's in 2006, my life had took a change, and my marriage ended, and there was a lot of things going on at the time. But when things had sort of cleared in 2006, that's when I heard the Lord say, "You need to write a book." And I was like, oh my goodness, like I was not in that space at all to do it, but it was a seed for another day. And it was actually about 16 years later that I ended up writing the book. So yeah, book 1 came out in 2021.
Well, I love that because really you're asking the questions that as moms, we know kids ask from a young age. And you do it in a way that is creative, a way that is visual for children.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us maybe a little bit about Ethan and Abby in this Faith Adventure series? What do you really hope that children and parents take away as they read these books?
To me, the most important thing is knowing that they have the power of God. I grew up in the church, but I didn't grow up learning that I could have access to the power of God. In fact, I didn't know what that meant. And having an identity in Christ, what does that mean? I didn't know that. So I grew up with some really difficult challenges in terms of insecurities. And so I made a lot of wrong decisions as I was growing up. And really what I want to do is be able to provide a tool to whether it's parents or educators, so that they would be able to teach their children to listen and to hear and develop that relationship with the Lord.
Well, it's good. I was sharing earlier that my daughter has been reading this book.
Yeah.
And so, I love it because in this newest one, Wait, What? I Can Talk to God, we see that Abby really wrestles with some really honest questions. And I shared at the beginning that I did too as a kid, wondering, does God speak to me? Can I speak to God? So what inspired you to really share this story about kids understanding the power of God talking to them and listening to God themselves as well?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So being able to hear the Lord means that you have like a relationship. He's like your friend. So when you have a friend, you're spending time with them, right?
Yeah.
And you're learning what their voice sounds like and what they would do. And having a relationship where your identity in Christ means that you have a soft place to fall. You have that foundation. It's like, how is a house built? We know all those stories about, building your house on something that's solid. So when things don't turn out in life, kids will learn as they go through the challenges who they can rely on and where their confidence comes from.
I love that. It's relating to God as a friend in that conversation.
Yes.
I love that. It's so important for kids to know that, right? Because a lot of times I know growing up for me, it was like, oh, this is the God of my parents, right? I didn't understand him as, Jesus, a friend.
Right.
And so
personal.
Yes, exactly. And so that conversation, that ability to listen and to hear from God. And
so important.
So why too, a lot of your questions or a lot of the books have to do with identity in Christ. Why has that been a theme for you? Why is that so important for you to instill that in this younger generation?
Yes, that's a really loaded question. Some of it I've alluded to, but I grew up, like I said, with a lot of insecurities, and God in fact says that there will be challenges. He doesn't say, follow me and there won't be any challenges. He says there, in fact, will be challenges. And when we're rooted in something, and which I was not rooted in anything. And so I didn't have that foundation to fall back on. I didn't have the right source to pull from.
Yeah.
So then the world talks to you. And when the world talks to you to do things, you just, just continue to do what you've always done and get what you've always gotten. And for me, it just led to insecurity. So it was important to me to make sure that children didn't go through the same thing as I went through. And for sure, my daughter at the same time, it was important.
I love that. And again, it's a book written to children for the family, really, because it's an opportunity for the parents to have those conversations with the kids, to use this as a resource to do that. And that's certainly what I've been able to do with my daughter.
Yeah, that's good.
As we close here, what's next for Ethan and Abby, as we do know that this is a series?
Oh, well, continued conversations for sure. They're all question-based because, kids are always focused on asking questions. And I like to set the tone that no question is a bad question, and just being very approachable. So it could be about, I've got a few things mulling around. There's nothing written yet, but some things are about kindness, thankfulness. And one thing that stuck with me as I was growing up was to do what's right because it's right. So teaching children about that.
Yeah.
Not always what feels right, right?
That's good. Well, thank you so much for writing these books, for being a resource, not only to children, but to parents. And hopefully there is more to come in the future.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate being here.
Well, if you want more information on the Ethan and Abby series, you can head to our website at 700club.ca.